Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is John Viglotti, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you joined us for our next presentation from BTQ Technologies. Please note you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Nicholas Russi Newton. He's the co-founder and chief operating officer of BTQ Technologies, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol BTQQF and on the CBOE Canada under the symbol BTQ. Welcome, Nicholas.
Thanks, John. Great to be here. As John mentioned, I'm the co-founder and chief operating officer of BTQ Technologies, and we're a Canadian quantum technology company listed on the QX and on the CBOE exchange in Canada as well as in Germany. So BTQ, we're focused on commercializing near-term applications of quantum technology. Quantum computers are a new computational paradigm that promise to be exponentially faster than even today's fastest supercomputers. And they're also going to use drastically less energy. And this has been a field of research going back decades and has really, over the past 2 decades, seen a lot of commercial development and research and development. The catalyst being, or one of the catalysts being, Peter Shor in 1994 developed Shor's factoring algorithm, which theoretically demonstrated that quantum computers, if realized, could break public key cryptography encryption that is used to underpin the cybersecurity of the internet. So since then, starting in 1999 with companies like D-Wave System and other large companies like Google and IBM and Amazon, there's now this global race to develop working quantum computers that can demonstrate some sort of quantum advantage, i.e. solving a problem faster, cheaper, more efficiently with a quantum device over a classical system. And we're seeing a lot of governments also get involved in this quantum space race. And you have numerous competitors, whether that's here in Canada, the US, China, Australia, and many others. And in addition to that, you have a flurry of startup companies building quantum computers, several of which are publicly listed now. And I think it's important just to note how seriously governments are taking the opportunity and threat of quantum computers. And we're seeing investments both on the computing side, so looking to develop more stable quantum computers, but also on the security side. How do we upgrade our security infrastructure to essentially withstand quantum attack? So that's why people are very excited about the potential for quantum technology. So about a decade ago, NIST, which is the agency under the Department of Commerce in the US, together with the NSA, the National Security Agency, announced a new open challenge and contest to develop new encryption algorithms that could be secure against quantum computers. So what's been going on for the past decade is there's been this open process where academics and large companies have submitted proposals, and then the community has basically battle tested those, and just recently those have been actually standardized and ready for commercial use. So there's been a number of executive orders by the Biden administration mandating these algorithms, and there's a huge amount of urgency as well to implement them. And one of the reasons why it's very urgent is that counterparties, adversaries could be harvesting data today that's encrypted using pre-quantum cryptography, and they could just be storing that to decrypt later when they have a working quantum computer. So if you have a long enough time horizon, there's already a huge amount of urgency that needs to take place to upgrade to post-quantum cryptography. So when it comes to implementing quantum security, it's really a compliance issue. And these new standards that have recently been released by NIST, they're not a simple patch. This is going to require a lot of grunt work. It's going to require optimization for new use cases. Typically, these new cryptographic algorithms have much larger key sizes and signature sizes. So that poses an issue for applications like blockchain, where latency is important, or within hardware devices or IoT devices. When it comes to energy consumption of those devices, how do you fit these larger algorithms, that consume more? So this is a very difficult problem that's going to take years to properly figure out and deploy across multiple systems. So there's a huge amount of excitement though as well, and you're seeing kind of global collaboration. So not only are there standards in the US, there's standards here in Canada. Recently I was in Korea at the launch. BTQ was a founding partner at the launch of the Korean Quantum Standards Organization. And this is not just related to cryptography. This is how do we connect quantum computers in a network to do encrypted communication, but to also do distributed quantum computation. What happens when you have a network of quantum computers that can talk to each other, and what kind of new applications does that bring about? So there's just a lot of excitement and standards developments that are taking place. And in addition to that, you also have new export controls. Governments see this as a very sensitive, high-value technology. So there are, new rules in terms of how to go about in terms of international collaborations for this technology, just given how mission critical it is to everyday infrastructure. So Canada has been a pioneer in quantum science going back decades. Canada is where quantum was first commercialized through various startup companies, and you've had a lot of pioneering research here in Canada. And the University of Waterloo is actually the top quantum institution globally in the world. So it's a huge national asset. And the Canadian government recognizes that and has developed its first quantum strategy that has allocated almost $1 billion to quantum funding and commercialization research, some of which BTQ is the proud recipient of. And there are numerous organizations across Canada, QIC, Quantum Industry Canada, Quantum BC. There's organizations in Ontario and Quebec that are supporting quantum as it gets out of the lab and into exciting commercial applications. So all that being said, what are we doing at BTQ? So BTQ, we are focused on these near-term use cases for quantum technology. And we have kind of multiple ways that we generate revenue through that approach. So one is we incubate our own products and IP. We engage in research contracts. So this is with typically large corporates like Foxconn or IDQ, where we essentially co-own and co-develop IP with them, and we take a management fee for providing that. And we also engage in government projects and research. So we receive government funding from the various funding agencies. The focus currently being on Canada, the US, and Australia. And just to go back on the in-house IP and product development, so we've now been engaged in licensing of our various technologies, and over the summer announced our first material licensing deal. And we're going, I'll get into a bit more in terms of what those products actually entail in the next few slides. So BTQ is led by my brother Olivier, who's also the founder of Hive Blockchain Technologies and DeFi Technologies. And we always had a shared interest in kind of blockchain and quantum technology. And we saw a huge risk that quantum posed to blockchain networks. So that was the initial focus of BTQ. We realized that the technology was applicable to a lot of other mission critical industries. So we were able to broaden that out and create these general purpose products and applications that could serve other industries. And we have an in-house team of quantum experts. This is led by Professor Gavin Brennan, who's the director of quantum engineering at Macquarie University in Australia. And we also have teams in Taiwan and in Korea. And Jeff Troy is based in Seoul and was critical to achieving our recent partnership with ID Quantique. So we have products across software and hardware. So our PQ Scale offering is a quantum security solution for blockchains. So essentially this enables post-quantum compliance in a very easy software API model. So it's essentially billed by volume of transactions that happen on a specific blockchain network. And QSIM, which is our hardware offering. And we're very bullish on the hardware opportunity as it relates to post-quantum cryptography. There's a huge amount of embedded devices that now need to move to post-quantum accelerators, so chips that support these new, much larger NIST standards. So what we've developed at BTQ is a new architecture that runs those standards and is compatible with them in a very energy efficient fashion, and can also support other very energy intensive cryptography like zero knowledge and BLS signatures and all sorts of other kind of new innovative techniques that are now being widely deployed. Quantum Consensus is a product that we've built, led by the team in Australia. And what we've done is we've made the first quantum analog to proof of work. And proof of work is the consensus mechanism that is used within blockchain networks such as Bitcoin. This consumes a huge amount of energy. So what we've devised is a way to use near-term quantum devices to actually be the validators in a blockchain network. And we've seen huge energy efficiency gains and recently published a paper on that successful result. So we're very excited to now kind of look at various opportunities in blockchain to commercialize that product. And then I'll touch on Prion, which is a signature scheme that we've developed with the US government, or within the US standards process, rather, the NIST I referred to earlier. So Prion was co-developed with Foxconn Group and was accepted in the first round of the NIST standardization process for additional signatures. So it offers basically a cryptographic signature that has a lot of innovative new features, like enabling zero knowledge proofs, which is a widely deployed scheme now that helps ensure additional privacy within crypto systems. And we're very, very excited about kind of building on the initial momentum and success that signature has seen. So a lot of our research is in partnership with various universities. So we are now working with a number of top tier universities, whether that's Macquarie in Australia or the University of Queensland. And here in Canada, we're doing a lot of research with the University of Waterloo. And we're quite excited now to extend Prion to a lot of other industries. So we recently received a grant from the Canadian government to further optimize Prion within hardware environments. And this zero knowledge primitive that Prion is based on is widely seen as this new paradigm that could enable applications like CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. And a lot of the research out of the Bank of Canada has been focused on how do you apply zero knowledge cryptography to central bank digital currency systems. So Prion could be a top candidate for various implementations of that kind of infrastructure. So in addition to universities, we work with government institutes, most notably CSIRO in Australia, the National Lab, and in Taiwan, we work with ITRI. ITRI is well known for incubating a lot of the top semiconductor companies like TSMC and others. Essentially, every large company in Taiwan comes out of this institute. And why we initially partnered with them on looking at how we implement these new NIST standards within cryptographic processors is they saw a huge opportunity from a commercial perspective to essentially build out this infrastructure. So we've developed and have developed multiple prototype chips now at BTQ. One being with ITRI, and we're excited to do a lot more there in terms of either offering this as our own product offerings or our own quantum cybersecurity chip that could be implemented in devices like in mobile devices or in IoT devices, or essentially packaging that up as an IP block and having other hardware products incorporate that IP within their own offerings. So I think we see a huge market right now, in a number of different areas. There's obviously a lot of hype for AI-related chips. So companies like NVIDIA and AMD and others, well, all of those chips need cryptographic processors in them. And those, certainly given how sensitive AI is and, the data within those models, that, it's critical that they're going to be post-quantum secure. So we have strategic offices in Sydney, Australia, as well as Taipei. And the reason being is Australia and of course Canada, where we're headquarters, has huge amounts of government projects for quantum, huge amounts of funding opportunities, other partnerships opportunities, top tier universities. So we're just kind of looking to do more in those two jurisdictions. We also recently partnered with AQSN. This is a new nonprofit in Australia. It's the Australian Quantum Software Network. And they are now doing lots of large-scale projects, doing micro grants to top researchers in Australia, incubating a lot of very exciting high-value IP, and we're very excited to be their commercialization partner and helping them as they navigate and essentially have this access to very specialized talent. And I do want to emphasize how tough it is to find top tier quantum research and science talent. This is extremely limited globally. We're talking, literally like several thousand people globally that have this kind of expertise. So it's a very small talent pool and very hard to get access to. So we're excited to now be a public company. We listed over a year ago. And we've, in tandem, we've been very busy working on numerous partnerships that we've announced. So Foxconn, I mentioned, IDQ. We announced our first projects with the Canadian government, and we have a large pipeline of other deals that we've been working on. And recently, we're very excited to be doing more with the University of Waterloo. And again, I'll just emphasize that Waterloo is the top institution globally as it relates to quantum research. So we're thrilled to be a strategic partner there, and we see a lot of additional opportunities we can do in that ecosystem. And I'll emphasize as well, just quantum is a global race. And I was just in Korea, where we were at this launch of the QInsta, which is the new Korean quantum standards organization. The largest companies in Korea, Taiwan, Japan are all doubling down on quantum. In Japan, just last month, we saw the largest kind of purchase of a quantum computer for research purchases. So the National Lab purchased one from QEra. And so there's large amounts of R&D going into this space, and we just see that continuing. And as it relates to Waterloo, I think there's a huge amount of excitement in that ecosystem, not just for post-quantum cryptography. You have some of the leading experts at Waterloo that designed the new protocol for Apple's iMessage to be post-quantum secure. So that's everyone is essentially working with Waterloo as it relates to cutting-edge quantum security. You also have the IQC there. This is the Institute for Quantum Computing, where they're developing novel quantum computers and looking at quantum sensing and quantum key distribution and other applications of quantum. So, we're excited to be part of the what's known as the Waterloo CPI, this Cybersecurity and Privacy Institute. And as it relates to Foxconn, so Foxconn, largest manufacturing company in the world, they're headquartered in Taipei, where we have an office, and we've been working with them for now several years to design Prion. But we also have a large collaboration focused on incubating general purpose IP with Foxconn as it relates to quantum security, hardware, quantum computing. We're looking at kind of various other projects, and we're excited to be a partner. And I'll just close off by mentioning that we are publicly listed now. So we're still very under the radar as it relates to the public markets, but we're very excited about now this emergence of interest in quantum computing, and as investors look for exposure to this fast-growing space, I think BTQ is one of the best proxies as it relates to some of the most exciting near-term technologies. So, okay, we have a few questions. So what catalyst do you see happening in the quantum space in the next year? So a very exciting catalyst recently was the finalization of these quantum cybersecurity standards. So this was in August. So this is after a 10-year process. There's now a clear reason for large companies and governments to support and adopt quantum-related technology. So we see that as being a huge catalyst for BTQ. And in addition to that, I've referenced some of these new standards organizations as well. I think when you look at standards kicking in, this is a clear indicator. But I would also point to just some of the research as well that's coming out of these, whether it's government research labs or companies like Amazon. I think just over the past couple months, we've seen numerous breakthroughs as it relates to quantum error correction. So basically, kind of huge gains being made to show that quantum computers can be realized, within the decade. And I think you've also seen huge urgency and alarm bells over the past month in the blockchain community. This was largely after a post by Scott Aronson, who's a renowned MIT professor, I think he's currently in Texas now, but he raised the alarm bells in his widely read blog, Shuttle Optimized, essentially saying that he has high conviction on quantum computing being realized at full scale within the decade. So I think those are the most exciting catalysts that we're seeing. Another question: BTQ operates in Canada, Australia, and a few other countries. Any benefits to these locations? So we're very excited about our presence here in Canada, which is office here in Vancouver and in Toronto, and in Sydney, in Australia. Again, it's very hard to find quantum related expertise. This is a process that is billions of dollars and decades of fundamental research goes into it, and Canada has this amazing asset in the university ecosystem here, and Australia as well. It started investing in quantum very early on, and as a result has an amazing ecosystem. So we're both very excited about being involved in those ecosystems, and there's lots more we can do as well, with these various governments. So you recently announced the acquisition of Radical Semiconductor. Is M&A a primary focus of BTQ's growth strategy? So I would say we're very excited about a Radical acquisition. This is a company I've been following for now several years. This is a 10-person team out of Stanford University that developed a quantum secure chip and ecosystem that could be implemented within mobile devices and cryptocurrency wallets and other IoT devices, and was just blown away by their tech and their team. They also had an extensive patent portfolio as well, which is always great. So in terms of other acquisitions, certainly I think we're seeing a lot of opportunities, but we're very selective of those acquisitions, and there has to be a value add that BTQ can provide. So I think when it comes to other M&A, we do lean on kind of teams that have a finished product offering like Radical that can be kind of monetized within the BTQ ecosystem and kind of fit within all of our existing channels. Great. Well, I think that's all the questions for now. So thanks again, and feel free to reach out